Now let's look into this Lumi editor to create h5p content, whether you are using Lumi Cloud or Lumi Desktop Editor, or if you are using any LMS that supports or any website that supports a h5p editor, the environment, or you can say what you see here is the editor is 99% similar. Okay, now let us select the content type that we want to create. We have seen that there are more than 40-50 varieties of h5p content types. So among them, depending upon the course interest or your requirements, you please click on the activity, the content type, and you can view the details. If you observe here, next to each content type, there is a button called details. And also sometimes for some content types, there is an option called updates available. Let's look into this drag the words details. When you click on the details, you will see the content demo option, some screenshots, and also license details. And then there is a button to click on use, then the editor will open for drag the words. Now, what happens if there are any updates available? Let's look into this question set. When I click on those details option, there are two buttons here if you observe. Because there are some updates available, there is a button called update. You can click on the update and then you can click on this use button. For every content type, you have a link that leads to content demo and some screenshots and some description of that particular content type. Now let's see drag the words. Okay, let me click on use and I will give a name already I've given as a sample. On top there is an option called edit and view. View is like while you are editing, you can view how does that activity, this content type looks, the functionality and options, right? In edit, if you look at the screen, for each and every content type, there is a different editor options. But for every h5p content type, there is a drop down called behavioral settings, and these settings will differ from content type to content type. Okay, so enable retry, enable show solution, how they look like, for example, in view. So let me try to complete this activity. I'll try to check. And there are two buttons here, enable retry and show solution. If I click on show solution, it will show me the solution. So let me go back to edit and I'll disable this show solution button. I'll try to do it again. So there is only a retry option there. So for different types of content types, like we have various types, right? So for each and every one, these behavioral settings will differ. So once you create the content, it could be your drag the words or course presentation or question set, whichever it is, you can save the content type to edit again, future in any h5p editor, or you can export it as a SCOM package that can be used in your learning management system, or as an all-in-one HTML file that you can distribute with your users, where they can use a browser to open that file. Okay, or you can have another option, one HTML file, and save whatever the media you used, all that will be a separated one. But most popular one is this all-in-one HTML file, or directly saving it as a .h5p file. So what happens when I click on export all-in-one HTML file? So these are the settings that I can by default you can just leave and then export, and then it will ask you the name and the location where you want to publish or where you want to export it as a HTML file, or you can choose that you can restrict the width and the center of that activity, or it can stretch depending upon the browser size. And if you want to show the copyrights, you can click on copyrights and show embed. If you want users to embed this activity, then you can click on show embed option also. So The copyright option, show rights, there is a button, right? Where do we add? There is a metadata option for each and every content type. Next to the title, the metadata option will be there where you can specify the license and if you are reusing it, the source and who is the author. If there is any other editor or licensee or originator, you can mention their names also, and then you can click on save metadata. For example, for this, and I will type my name as author and now save metadata, and now I will export it as all-in-one HTML file. I'll say show rights, I'll say export. It'll ask me what file name that you want to give and then where you want to export as a web page. Let me try to export it to my downloads folder. Now content exported, that is the pop-up that I got here. Well, now I'll go to my downloads and open that all-in-one HTML page. Let's see how it looks. Here is the activity that we just created as a HTML file we exported, and copyrights option, it is clearly given here. So this is how you can use Lumi desktop editor and then publish the content or export the content as all-in-one HTML file. If you want to use as a SCOM package, you have that option also, or you can always don't forget to save this activity as a .h5p file. If you click on save, it will ask you .h5p file and you can name it so that you can open it in any other environment where it supports h5p editor. For example, in your LMS or in a website that supports h5p editor, or in your Lumi desktop application or Lumi cloud option, right? So always save it as .h5p file for further editing options.